It might not be the flashiest gameplay. It doesn't need to be because they have been doing an amazing job. So I just wanted to point that out before we jump into game.
Fantastic thing to call out. I love that. Let's see. Map number 5. Can they keep it together? Katie, Tiff, take it away.
Thank you so much. And into map 5. The halfway point has come and gone. Tiff, and who better to start off with than Ken's herself? Why wouldn't we, considering they are the victors of map 4?
They are the victors, and they have jumped into the top 5 after one match. So very well done, and landing outside, and that zone pulls immediately towards their left. So not a bad rotation, but right off the rip, FIFA's being hunted. They're trying to get their cash up, and just honestly flowing through, finding a nice med vest. That's going to be clutch for those quick reses should they need it. A gas mask as well. Not sure if she was able to grab that, but regardless, we will look towards that later because it could come in clutch given that we did witness almost a heal off.
Well, I want to see if Ken's jumps back outside again. I mean, what's the fog? Well, based on this one, it might be a little rough. That fog on Vondel, it's going to change map to map, and it can be quite a frustration point for players, especially on those farther range sight lines. So I'm curious to know what it's going to look like this map. You could see out that window. It is, in fact, looking pretty foggy. So visibility going to be another aspect on map 5 that they're going to have to contend with. FIFA also with a bounty, only one threat, so nothing to worry about just now. But as we say that, Aydan down onto It's Danya, and it should be a nice opening kill for them. The stim not going to be able to go through.
He could be camping the stairs, so we really got to double this.
All right. I love the leadership that Aydan's showing here in this duo ship for the Sadie Hawkins. Just kind of keeping the comms clear, letting them know where they are, and then Oakley falls. So really good cohesiveness. Now, granted, this team, I believe, was also inside the top 5 and has kind of steadily been trickling back down, but we need to find that form. But the fact is, the chemistry is good, the comms are good, and Careless Kitty is doing exceptionally well. I believe she's also a Twitch partner, streams a lot, has been grinding Call of Duty, but I believe her first time being a captain for any events on Arena was during that $75,000 community showdown. Performed pretty good, now bringing it here, so just kind of fleshing out that competitive Warzone and getting accustomed to it.
Yeah, and who better to do that with than Aydan, right? He's going to be able to give you all the tips and tricks of the trade, be able to help you get up to speed, and as you said it, the comms so important for these duos, especially ones like Selly and Shifty. Their communication from so many events played together is natural. They are going to understand each other's play styles, their habits, their mannerisms, what they like to do. Not only that, but where they like to land on the map and how they like to play these resurgence events. So no surprise that you're going to see certain teams with a substantial lead, but Amelia needs to scurry away, takes the zip to safety, almost gets downed in the process, but able to stabilize, does have tempered to quickly get those plates back in, and looking to maybe find a re-challenge on whatever player she was dealing with initially. And who does she find but Oakboy, who gets down? That will be her first elimination of the map.
Oakboy can't catch a break. Goes down earlier, comes back, but I am really impressed. I don't know how much chemistry Adrian and Amelia Rose actually have together. I know Amelia's been competing in Warzone, whether it's multiplayer, whether it's Warzone for an astronomically long time. She's really good. And Adrian, kind of that young gun, made a really good showing in the World Series of Warzone, played alongside Rated and Aydan, and has kind of just been running the gauntlet. But the comms are flowing, and honestly, Katie, I would love to hear a listen in between them, because they're just flying through.
Last guy was away from us, across the river on the right. Where the fighting is right now, over there.
Oh, I can't use that. Oh, don't look at me.
Is someone just shooting at you?
No, I was shooting something.
Yeah, you are.
We might get DQ for that.
Why?
Potentially. I put a radar down on accident.
Oh.
Keep on me.
Well, my
Caught
goodness,
in
my
4K.
gracious. Look, I wanna say, Tiff, that might be the best timing of a listening call I think I've ever seen. As we swing over to take a look at Aydan's team, does have that double threat to be mindful of for another 2 minutes. But Careless Kitty, hey, 3 eliminations so far, a very good start for this duo.
A very good start indeed, especially when she just wiped Tia and Noobs. So Noobs, a very powerful name in the Warzone competitive scene. And, well, done and dusted over here at Stadium. And Aydan still has that double threat on the bounty. And this is not one of my favorite places to fight in any way, shape, or form. Trying to kind of see anyone on the opposite side is tough. But Kitty, you know, making it look well, hitting for a couple plates. There goes the drone, so they'll have a nice opportunity for a rotation.
I'm gonna grab my loadie. I'm gonna get
This area in particular always kind of gives me anxiety, Tiff, when we're watching these resurgence maps, because I feel like so much chaos happens when you're in this field. You have to be able to get away. There's so many different angles that you have to deal with as well. It can just tend to be fairly awkward. But Aydan, it looks like whoever's at that 2 threat doesn't seem overly keen on pushing him, and perhaps no surprise, I would not want to have to push Aydan in a gunfight, but oftentimes people will simply use it as a UAV for the few moments that it's up to keep track of where at least one person is on the map. But now they will sync back up. Less than 50 seconds to go before they'll get some excess cash from avoiding that bounty. But for the time being, I'd be curious to know how many Aydan's working with in terms of kills as we swing on over to Peachy and Ba. No eliminations for Peachy, but alive and well, and certainly plenty of players to farm.
Probably a good bit of eliminations, honestly. And you're like, I would hate to have Aydan push me in a fight. Well, I have experienced that in a Twitch Rivals event, and it was the scariest moment of my life. I think he threw a flash, and I died instantly. So I'd imagine that happens quite frequently. It's a good reason why I'm here alongside you and not in there.
No, that's a scary place. I like to be in the booth with my wonderful, incredible co-casters. I don't want to fight against any of these players because they are so incredibly talented. Peachy, slow and steady here, just trying to get a nice view on where this player could be, as Careless Kitty looked like they were in a bit of trouble there, but are able to get back up with the self-revive. Aydan, finally that bounty goes away, and some much-needed cash in their pocket as well. That cash, that resource management is so important, especially when you get into the later portions of a resurgence map. You need your smokes, you need your stims, you need everything available to you. And if you're Tiff, nice job on that down to Kaylee. Beautiful spot and a team wipe, which means Kaylee's team, unfortunately, will have to wait for map 6.
I'm gonna come over to you.
Kaylee playing alongside Unrational. Their duo out. But still 0 eliminations for Tifa. She's doing a really good job at just getting that initial damage. Whereas Dongy can kind of just push in and grab any bit of those comms, playing a little bit split. Good live pings there. It's still very reserved, kind of very similar to how we've seen Scummin and Smixy play. Tifa being like Smixy, and granted, hey, let's jump on over to them, see what they're up to as well. Back at the zoo.
Am I live? I'm trying to get like top. These guys are trying to work me.
Just hanging out. Did you have a favorite exhibit at the zoo?
I'm jumping on.
I loved the penguins, Katie. How about you?
Penguins are excellent. I was a big otter fan.
Oh, they always just float and live their best life.
Yeah, I mean, their floating is about as good of a swimmer as I am. So when they started doing tips and tricks in the smoke, like Smixy on to Selly. But the trade is instant from Shifty. Talk about 2 of the teams, I think, currently in the top 5. Otter v Penguin, and I don't know who's which, but we'll say the Penguin came out on top.
Let me just say, Shifty must have also been in that smoke right next to Selly, but because of the visibility, she could only see Selly. Regardless, still a thorn in their side. Now Allie and Huskerrs, but jumping back on real quick to Brittany. She falls immediately, but Tommy tells her she's good, and I'd imagine she'll be coming back soon.
And that's the thing, right? Tommy, very good. Historically, Almond as well, players who are exceptionally good at staying alive when they are player down. So she should be back in short fashion. But let's take a look at Ali and Huskerrs. Ali with 2 elims, and this team a bit quiet so far today, but it is going to be that top 16 that you want to get into. This leaderboard, multiple important aspects. Not only is the top 16 important to qualify for day 2 of this event, but it's also important for your placement within the bracket. If you're 16th, yes, you managed to get in, but you're going to be placed against number 1. It's going to be a difficult time, and that very well could be the lady on your screen right now. Selly looking like the recovery is there.
Heading to the rooftop over here at Zoo. Fire sale gone, but not before she was able to grab a UAV. Getting all of the information and looking towards the sky. We still have 19 squads remaining, and a rather slower start for this duo. Shifty does fall. Oh, there we go. Still comes through. That's a team wipe onto Careless Kitty and Aydan, and now we're shaping up to go towards Smixy.
When you got that down from Scubba, does give the time for Shifty to be able to stabilize. Nice overwatch from Selly. Pay attention onto those team pushes, and now just checking every angle. As again, 2 eliminations for Selly. You do have that triple hunt. You know that these players are coming right for them, but as Lucky falls to Shifty, that could very well be their bounty. So far so good. And Selly, in terms of bounty, being on that roof, going to be very helpful for her longevity. We swing over to Asta now. Smokes down, peppering through them, not able to connect with anything too substantial. It does have a few eliminations as they catch at least 1 scurrying behind the buildings.
Hitting for flesh, so not bad, and restock coming through. So if you're low on supplies, you can go ahead and grab those. We were talking about which weapons we'd see come through, and, well, the MTZ-762 is the weapon of choice for Asta. We've seen a couple Bass Bs, we've seen the Ram 7, but the Swarm has been the low and behold tried and trusted SMG. Finds another self-res, and my 8 years of French, and I still can't understand anything. If you don't use it, you lose it. And now I'm wishing I had it.
I'm just saying, my mom, fluent in French, never spoke a lick of it to me. What? I'm just going to bring up this grievance while we're in map 5, just because I could understand this if as a wee babe she'd spoke French to me. But alas, it was not meant to be, Tiff. But Asta, doesn't matter. We might not know what she says, but we know how good she is, and she will get that self-revive off. Nice job with the smoke down for immediate cover as they look to get back on their feet. In the meantime, Almond, in a bit of a tricky situation, does get downed. I can't remember. Whose name is this? I can never quite recall. I know they all... Yeah, I was going to say, they all change their names to funny names, and...
They always do that.
I know,
but it's Queen and Juju. So Juju Scion is right now taking down Swish, and not too bad. Now, granted, they've been playing really well together, and we've kind of talked about Queen's redemption arc and already shouting out the vibes of where that player is on the rooftop. We just have to push into the open area. So this rotation might be a little bit tough. Granted, we look for the potential of smokes. We don't have any more. I'm trying to clear out our back and make sure no one's going to jump off this roof. But while we're looking towards the roof, we're not necessarily paying out to our right. So we could get tapped from multiple angles, and that does happen. But is Juju alive? Because hopefully can get them back.
Yeah, I mean, you called that beautifully, right? You know that there's going to be someone on that rooftop, but you're completely exposed to people who are holding the storm further in than you. Going to try and get this self-res off. We'll be able to clear out of the storm with a slide into the corner, and with the plates and the temperate on top of it, Queen will be able to stay alive for the time being. Does have some streaks going in overhead, and now just content to lay prone for a minute, get her bearings, figure out what their next steps are going to be. Selly taking a few shots as they transition over to the waterfront, but take a look at that final circle. So much of it going to be straight into the water.
I just got schooled by Dandro on my pronunciation of Juju Saiyan, so let me pronounce that one correctly. I'm sorry to any DBZ fans out there. I have not watched it. But I am currently watching Bleach, and I am trying, and I'm also watching the Cash Bandits do work.
That is true. That is exactly what they're trying to do. They are the only team to win more than one map today. And if it makes you feel any better, Tiff, Reflections on the desk didn't know who Mace Windu was.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
Yeah,
Imagine.
the first Star Wars character he could name was Jar Jar Binks, and it went about as well as expected. And Selly hoping as this bounty runs out on that triple threat that their luck will be a bit better than Reflections when it comes to their Star Wars knowledge. As look at that, barely trying to get into the building. Selly trying to stay alive. Asta is downed in the process, using the door to get those plates in. No tempered to be used, but does decide to go down into the water, get away, and try and find a way to work on getting Shifty back. You want to survive for this buy. Gets it, doesn't actually manage to get the buy off. And Keo takes down Selly, and that is actually, I believe, going to be that 9th placement for them. That's right outside of that 2nd place multiplier.
Look, that was just karma for taking down Asta early on, so we know Onkyo's still alive. We've got to keep our eyes out. Queen going for the water rotation, gets sussed out by Zunde with a pistol. The buy-off from production is saying it does come through. It did not look like it, but we'd imagine. Shifty's back up and at him. 7 squads remaining. Angelica and Robstar in 2nd place after the 4 maps have just consistently been making it towards that end game and are just shy of that next circle.
I mean, realistically, this team you're watching right now has been the most consistent team in the tournament so far. Selly's team, they've had massive pop-off maps and mediocre maps, one after the other. This team has been in 2nd place. They've consistently been in 2nd place. They've been putting up those numbers each time, and they're looking to do it again as that team wipe does come in. And now it is down to the final 4 teams. They've guaranteed themselves that 1.3 multiplier, but you know at this point they are itching for 1st place as they dive into the water, trying to stay alive. Pistol out, but it's not meant to be. Robstar with a down onto Empathy, trying to stay alive. Robstar doing what he can, but as they fall, take a look at who exactly our Warzone victor was. A bit of chaos there at the end.
Ooh, I think I hear Kenz's voice kind of telling us who won. She was like, okay, Holly, okay, Trey. So Holly and Z Colors are potential winners there? Maybe? No?
Maybe
Were they
not.
wrong?
And Holly,
No, they were right. It was
yes,
Holly.
There we go. Holly and Z Colors will be taking map 5. It always gets a little chaotic, you know, Tiff, when we have a POV and someone else ends up winning at the end of these events. But it is going to be Holly's team, and that is going to be a huge bump for them because Holly's team have been a little bit quiet as well. So massive congratulations.